Okay, so I want to talk about the Draper Expert stroke Gearwrench. We can just zoom in there. Draper Expert stroke Gearwrench. Must be some collaboration between the two there. I suspect Draper have Gearwrench making the wrenches for them in this case. Obviously it's the fixed head ratchet spanner. As you can see there, you can hear the ratchet. Nice and thin, but still remaining strong. See that? Feel nice. Some people might find it, perhaps it might dig in across the fingers. I don't know if you're too tight for a long time, but I don't really see why you'd have to be that tight when using it in the first place. It's seems quite nice and weighted, balance, if you want to call it that, in your hand. Obviously this is the 9mm, bought singularly. I think they've discontinued making them now, but there's still stocks out there to buy. I think the ones that they make now are still Gearwrench and Draper Expert collab, but they've got the reversible switch built in up here. So I may or may have to complete the collection with the odd new one with a switch in it, but as long as the sizes are there, that shouldn't be that much of a problem to me really. They seem quite nice enough. Now there was 2 of these, both of them 9mm, as you can see there. You see the Draper Expert Gearwrench 9mm. Obviously all ratchet spanners seem to come in a try me situation. Packet with a screw that you can move around to test it before you buy it. Obviously to get it out you just need to squeeze them in and push that out, and that just pulls out of the middle. Now these are both 9mm, as you can see. That's because where I was buying it from was doing a sale of 2 of these for $4.99, so I kind of jumped on it. As you can see there, the I don't know, can we zoom in properly? The Expert 9mm ratcheting combination spanners, 9mm. Your list price is about $22.37. So $4.99 for 2 of them, brand new. I was kind of going to jump on that. I wasn't exactly looking to buy fixed ratcheting ring spanners just yet. I was at some point to go alongside the flexi head style ones, but being as I saw that offer for $4.99, I thought I'd jump on it. I'd jump on it for one while it was there. But the fact that there's 2 of them there is, you know, it's a bonus. I would have just assumed, because they stopped making them, but the stocks are out there, that it's somebody just trying to get rid of the deplete the stocks, ready to fill it with the new kind. But you know, that's fine by me. I'll get a bargain out the deal. Obviously, if I'm buying for the garage as well as the workshop, you know, an extra one will come in handy. Although you could, if you wanted to keep it as a spare, you could. That's one of the tool companies on eBay if you're in the UK, if you're looking to buy. There isn't really nothing else much I can say, otherwise, you know, I think Gearwrench is fairly well known in the States. You can see the actual Gearwrench logo. I think there's a lot of people buy Gearwrench ratchets and things, socket sets and things like that in the States, and say good things about them after they've bought them. So you know, it's a fairly decent spanner. So sure, I just got to pick up a few more now in the other sizes to go with it. Of course, being a collaboration between Draper and Gearwrench, that allows me to pick up the plain Gearwrench ones. Obviously with just Gearwrench on the one side, it won't have the Draper, it'll just be plain the other side, but it'll have Gearwrench on there. It'll be exactly the same spanner, you know, part or model. To complete the set, it'll just, you know, some might have Draper and some might just have plain Gearwrench on there, but it'll be exactly the same range, if you like. But that gives me the you know, both opportunities from both camps to complete the set when buying them singularly like that. Don't know if we want to have a quick look in at the open end. That's very nice. See the jewels there, nice. Slight chamfer, not too heavy. Not too heavy with the chamfer. Obviously this is a smaller and 9mm sized spanner instead of one of the more larger ones. It's usually the smaller ones when it comes to ratcheting spanners where you find that you might have problems with slippages and things like that usually, but this one seems to be fine. Sometimes some of the cheaper ones, when you ratchet back, there's the odd slip every now and again, but there's no such slippage with this whatsoever. This is crisp in operation. You know, some of the real cheap ones, they'll go fine, and then every now and again there'll be a slip, but they will lock forward to turn okay. But it's just in the ratchet mechanism, when it ratchets back, that it'll slip. But these seem absolutely perfect. Now I've still got to review the Aldi Work Zone flex head ones that I picked up a couple of weeks back now, or probably touching a couple months back now. Still got to grab the few of them and give them a review. But I'd say this is a better, obviously it's a better quality, slightly better quality than those, that's for sure. But the one problem I always had with ratcheting spanners was, well, if I've already got a ratchet and sockets, and I've already got a set of static combination spanners, you know, what's the need? What's the real need do I have for a ratchet spanner? Because it'd be very, very rare that I'll get into the situation where, you know, I've got a fastener in like that tiny space and I need, you know, the ratchet spanner to do it, because there's a big threaded screw sticking out and I can't get a socket on there and use my ratchet. And in that case, if those situations are that rare, then, you know, I could just manage with a normal combination spanner and just pick it up and put it back, turn it, pick it up, put it back and turn it until it's loose enough for me to take it off by hand. So I was never really you know, do we really need such things as ratchet and spanners? But they do get let's be honest, they're just a nice tool for people that want to get things done easier and quicker. They want to, you know, they want to get that fixing off or the bolt out quick, without having to constantly turn it, take it off, take it out and turn it with a usual spanner. So really it's just could you say it's a ratcheting spanner is a tool for the lazy engineer or mechanic? I don't know. It just gets the job done quicker, doesn't it? And in a lot of cases. But you know, the times when it's really necessary is like I said before, when there's a nut with a big thread sticking up out of it, and you can't get a socket on over the top of it, and you want to get it off quick, so then you can fit that over the thread down onto the nut and then turn it off. And obviously there's the two types. There's a fixed head like this, and then there's the flexi head. I think the flexi head ones would, even though you can use them straight as well as at any angle, I think the flexi head ones would get a bit of a pain after a while when you're just using it straight like this, and like you would with a normal combination spanner, because you probably find that it does start to wobble all over the place, and that wobble what serves you well when you've got to undo a bolt at a certain angle will actually, when you're trying to work straight, will actually probably get on your wick a bit. So you know, you can probably find yourself dragging your knuckles and scraping your knuckles when using a flexi head on doing something straight, because it flex, your hand will go down and you know, scratch the knuckles. So you do want a fixed headset as well, I would have thought. You know, a fixed headset may or may not replace your everyday static combination spanners. But the only thing is, the same as with ratchets, and people don't take it on board, that you can break the actual ratcheting mechanism, and it's like I said, it's the same with ratchets as well. That if you use it to, when you tightened up your fixing or your fastener as far as it will go, and then you put in the final torque into it to really tighten it up, that's when you can snap and damage your mechanism, because they're not, you know, they're not the best of mechanisms to apply a load of torque into. Of course, there'll be some manufacturers out there that say ours can take more torque than other ones, and ours is, you know, a higher, new, improved, higher torque mechanism. You can do this and you can do that. But really, what you should be doing is, so if you've got a fixed end here, static, you can undo it's the same when you're having to put all your force in to undo a real tight bolt as well. You can damage the mechanism, say if it's rusted up or something like that. So what you want to do, use your fixed end, even though it's an open end. You might prefer, if you've got a static ring spanner, then you could use that always, and you could put all your torque into the static part of the spanner, undo it, then swap over and get it off quickly with the ratchet end. The same when you're doing something up, ratchet it all the way down till it just nicks, and then when you want to put the final torque into it, you can use the fixed and put all your strength into the fixed end then, and you won't run the risk of damaging your ratchet end. And that's the trouble people have, especially when it comes to the real cheap ratchet spanners. You might find that you'll be able to go the distance with real cheap ratchet spanners if you apply that you know, into practice. It's the same with your socket sets. What you should be doing is undoing it with the T-bar or the breaker bar. Then then switch into your ratchet to get the job done quick, get the nut off really quick. And the same when putting tightening a nut up, you put it on, get the ratchet all the way down till it's as tight as you can get it, and then take it off and put your T-bar, or you could use a breaker bar, and really put that torque in, that extra torque, to get it as tight as you can. Obviously situations where you don't have to torque it up to a certain torque level, but when you really just tightening it up as tight as you can get it, then you really should use your T-bar or your breaker bar to tighten it up as well. A lot of people don't bother doing that. I know sometimes I don't. It's you know, it's just a convenience thing, isn't it? You've got your ratchet there. Let's be convenient with it. But a lot of the time, people have said that they've damaged their ratchets by, you know, over torquing something. Say like they've put a cheater bar on the end of the ratchet handle as well, and to increase the leverage, and they've over torqued something, and that's what stripped the strip the gearing on the in the mechanisms on the ratchets. And it will be exactly the same for ratchets, spanners. You know, it'd be exactly the same, because it's exactly the same type of mechanism. This particular one, I think, has 72 teeth that we see in a lot of these days. 72 teeth always equals 5 degrees of operation, so that means you'll get 5 degrees out of one click, or each click. So, you know, that's one click's 5 degrees, and then you can turn. So that'll allow you to work in up to, you know, a 5 degree area. If you're working in, like, you know, a 5 degree, a small tiny space, before it will lock again and allow you to take a turn, lock and allow you to take a turn. You can, if you're not sure how many teeth that your particular wrench or ratchet has, you can always mark, if you've got a permanent pen, that a bit of alcohol will always wipe it off. If you can put a mark actually on the tip of the ring and on the actual spanner, so you can line them up, and then you can count how many clicks all the way around till it reaches and lines back up again. And then you can divide that by 360 for degrees, obviously, and then that'll give you the degree each click has. You know, so that's 72 teeth equals 5 degrees per click. So all in all, it's a nice spanner. I'll collect a few of the different sizes of it. Like I say, I might have to just get the plain Gearwrench version of the same spanners to complete the set, but or I might even have to end up having the odd Draper, the new Draper Expert stroke Gearwrench ones with the switch on there. Obviously these are reversible by flipping the sides, so if you're screwing something up and then you want to undo something, you flip it upside down, and then the ratchet will automatically be facing the other way. So all in all, it's a nice one there from Draper Expert and Gearwrench. I suspect Gearwrench have made it. This particular spanner that Draper's putting out, and they've come into a deal with them. I know they do have certain deals with Nipex or Knipex, as some people call it, and Elora as well in Germany. So you know, they do that. They import stuff and put their name to it. So obviously it's Gearwrench this time, which people have said, it's quite a decent tool firm. It's not exactly cheap stuff from there. So that's the Draper Expert Gearwrench fixed head ratcheting spanner, or combination ratcheting spanner.